You're very welcome along to Trader Chat. We've loads to talk about this week. Star Sports has taken some whopper wagers over the last week across the spectrum, across different sports. Seriously difficult time for the Conservatives, and we'll talk about that. What about the England team, though? Gareth Southgate, I doubt he's a Conservative voter. I don't know that about him, but falling out of the top rung of the Nations League. Ireland narrowly avoiding the same. An embarrassing come down last night against Armenia, winning in the end. Premier League is back this weekend, but we're counting down to the World Cup on Star Sports Trader Chat this weekend with Johnny Ward and Flynn Goward. And we will talk about the Prix Triomphe. Unfortunately, I'm not going. I've been there many times. Maybe we'll have an Irish winner on Sunday. First of all, Flynn, met some of your mates at the Dogs in Dublin on Saturday night. And I have to say, the lads with Star Sports connections, they weren't shy of going to the bar and getting the round in.
I'm sure they were. And I'm sure you saw probably Lofty over there and then a few more Star connections. So hopefully they're all having a good time. I would imagine you can probably hear them in the crowd. But it did look buzzy, to be fair, at Shelbourne. And it looked like Shelbourne and Bullsports put on a great show.
It was absolutely buzzing. And it's funny how you write things off, like the betting wing at Shelbourne. It was a poor betting wing for the semi-final, like really, really poor. The final was like old days. It was, the big layers just taking bets constantly all night pretty much. It was amazing to see. Maybe the wagering levels have gone down, but I don't think that's necessarily something that you'd be worrying about. It's more that the interest is there and the ring was alive. And we had a big gamble on favorite that was turned over, but it was a special atmosphere there. And it would definitely whet the appetite for next year.
Yeah, good. And look, it was a very open race. Was it Born Warrior that won?
Yes.
So I'm not a massive dog man myself, but yeah, it looked like a fantastic spectacle to be at. And of all the dog tracks I've been to a fair few, to be fair, just with Star. But when I've been over to Shelbourne, it's always been fantastic. It feels like a proper track, as opposed to some tracks you go to. I love going to Hove down here and obviously Toaster for the Derby, etc. But when I went to Shelbourne, it felt like a proper theatre, which was really nice. But we've had loads of action over the last week. We've obviously had the Irish Dog Derby, a lot of Nations League. A lot of people don't like the kind of gap in between the Premier League season. I think when we get to the actual World Cup, it'll be a bit different because the real excitement will be there. But these Nation League games is just about kind of jostling for position in terms of team for the actual World Cup itself.
What do you make of England?
I was encouraged when we were aggressive against Germany. I thought we were pedestrian before that. I thought playing Saka at left wing back was madness from Southgate. He's just got a real reliance on playing players our position, but players that he trusts. And I think that he just needs to play players that are in form in their positions that they play for their clubs. Don't play Maguire, maybe play Dyer, Stones and Walker in that back three, probably Chilwell at left back, James at right back. I'll be playing Declan Rice and obviously Jude Bellingham in the middle, and then Sterling, Kane, and I'll play Saka. I don't think Foden's done a huge amount for England yet. I'm not sure what role he plays, whereas all of the others do a job, and then obviously Pickford in goal. So I think that would probably be my 11. Whether that's Southgate's 11, I'd be quite a big prize. But I do think that'll be the front three League starts with. I think he will start with Saka, Kane and Sterling as that front three, and then it'll be Rice and Bellingham in behind, and then I think it will be able to play for in the kind of back five behind that.
I guess the expectations for the World Cup have dampened a bit, which mightn't be a bad thing. And Ireland won't be there. I was at the Irish game last night. It was very disappointing. Hard to know what to make of us going forward. But Star Sports has laid a good wager on the World Cup. It's a World Cup for me that's strange. I have to say, I'm not overly enthused about it. I think it's a joke, really, from start to finish, this World Cup. But something's got to win it, and a winner is a winner chicken dinner.
Are you not infused by it because it's in Qatar?
It's the timing and, the fact that it's in Qatar. I think having a World Cup in the Middle East makes loads of sense. Having the World Cup in Qatar makes none. It was completely corrupt how they got there in the first place. You obviously have the human rights issues, and the timing of it is just a joke. So, no, it's the one World Cup I really wasn't bothered if Ireland got to it or not. Not that that's a concern for us these days. In any event, I will watch it, but I've serious reservations about it, and I could sort of take it or leave it, to be honest.
I think it's one of those things. When it's here, it'll be proper buzzing again. I was speaking to head of football Rory about it the other day, and I wasn't too enthused about it. And then once I got speaking about it, I kind of got a bit excited again. So I think it's just because it breaks up the Premier League season, and I'm already excited enough about that. So because it breaks it up. It's a little bit annoying, but look, once it's here, it will just be like that World Cup fever again. So I think it will be good. We weren't too impressed, or the football traders weren't too impressed with England the other night, because they've gone 8-1. Just having a look across the board here on Oddschecker and other odds comparison sites, there's a lot of 13-2 and 7s out there. One firm goes 17-2, which is obviously miles above the parapet. But we are 8-1 England, so pretty generous with England. If you want to have a decent bet on England, then come to us. But you spoke about a big wager, and we've laid a very big wager on the Netherlands. This was at 12-1. We're now 10-1, obviously ducking them slightly. We had £100,000 at 12-1, so they would be a loser for obviously well over £1 million. They're a loser for over 1.1 million. So we will not want the Dutch to go close in the World Cup. England would be, obviously a winner in the book because of that large bet we played there, but they would be the worst winner. We've also laid the most amount of bets on England, as you would imagine, laid between 7 and 8-1. Then you'd be looking at Spain, then Brazil. Brazil, obviously, the real shortness in the market were around 6-1. Now they're short right into 9-2, with England obviously going out the other way. We've laid as big as 11-2, some decent bets in there, 11-2 and 5-1. So Brazil, obviously heading the market at 9-2, France in there at 11-2, Argentina 7-1, England 8, Spain 8, and then Germany 10. I do think that at 8-1, even though the football traders are fancying England, I think that we're quite a fair price for that, to be fair. I think that we'll probably come right for the tournament, and we'll kind of play ourselves into it. We have got a couple of other markets up. We've got all the group winners, and then to qualify from the groups, we've also got top goal scorer, which has gone up today. I'm not sure if you're looking at the market now, Johnny, but if you're not, who do you have as favourite for top goal scorer?
Oh, wow. God, I really don't know. This is not a market I've looked at all. And I have to say, it's a bit inconsistent with what I was saying. I haven't even looked at the World Cup that much. I wouldn't have even known that Brazil were favourites or whatever, but don't know, actually.
Well, look, so Harry Kane's in there at 15-2 favourite, which when you think that if we're 8-1 to go win the tournament, he's in there at 15-2 favourite. Kylian Mbappe's in there at 9-1, Karim Benzema 12-1, Neymar 12-1, Lionel Messi 14, and then 16 Ronaldo. I think the one here, and I was speaking to the boys a minute ago, I think the Neymar's a decent bet at 12-1. Right. He's played for Brazil, obviously the favourites. I think he'll take the penalties, which is obviously a big thing. I can't see anybody else taking the penalties off Neymar because he's got such a big personality. And I just think you'll get a proper run for your money at 12-1. We go all the way down to 250-1. So we've got loads and loads of runners in there. If you do want any more adding in, then just speak to us on Trading Chat and we can sort that out. A couple of World Cup markets to get stuck into. But we're back with the proper stuff this weekend, back with the Premier League. And what games to get us kicking off on Saturday than the North London derby, Johnny?
Yeah, and it's just interesting finally on that. I mean, there's an argument out there that the World Cup is easier to win than the Euros, and England are 1-3 to win their group. So I don't know if you want to get into the bandwagon, you could see England shortening, and maybe things will improve. I do think Harry Kane is definitely, or I do think rather that Maguire is definitely an issue for Southgate. But as you mentioned, yes, the football in terms of the Premier League is back this weekend. Alfie Inga Haaland's son, Erling Haaland, I'm really showing my age by this lad's name much of the time. I'm really showing my age, 40 in a couple of months. Erling Haaland is coming to Dublin during the World Cup for a game against Ireland, so that'll be a lot of fun. And he's obviously been leading the way with Man City. He's 1-5 now to be the top scorer in the Premier League. The one thing I just can't call in relation to this is just Flynn is just who comes second, third, fourth, because I think it's already up that Man City win the league.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, City are in at 2-7 to win the league. Liverpool 8, Arsenal 10, Spurs 14, and Chelsea 33. I think that Spurs are probably a decent bet at 14, to be fair. I mean, I think we spoke about some last Trading Chat, the fact that Arsenal were 66-50s before the season. We're 1 point clear of Spurs now. Spurs were 14 before the season, and they're still 14. They're only 1 point behind us. I'm just a little bit confused about it. I thought the Spurs would have shortened up a little bit. It might be because City have shortened up. Could possibly be the reason why. But if you think Arsenal have shortened that amount, then you'd expect Spurs to only be 1 point behind, and they've been impressive as well. So we've obviously got that game, the North London derby on Saturday, 12:30. Arsenal even money, the draw 13-5, and then Spurs at 5-2. So very, very big game. And I think it's the first time we'll really find out what Arsenal are made of. And same for Spurs, to be fair. I know Spurs played Chelsea, we played United, but we still played well against all of those. Every team this season, even though we got beat by United. So, it will be a very, very good game. And what a way to kick off a weekend of fixtures. Just looking at some other fixtures, we've obviously got the Manchester derby as well on the Sunday, 4-11 City, 17-4 the draw, and then 6-1 United. So some really good games, and it's going to be an action-packed October. I think Arsenal got 10 games or something silly in October. So a lot of the teams will be playing a lot of different players, a lot of rotation going on. But it will be interesting to see how we all get on when we come back to the Premier League this week.
Yeah, and that's, if that's the case, 10 games or whatever it is, it's ridiculous. And the request for games of players with this World Cup is absolute. I think the players haven't really been. I think they're welfare, and you can say, oh, they're on a lot of money, but they're still expected to perform. And I think that the schedule is far too difficult. We're going to end up on politics, but before that, it is Prix de l'Arc Triomphe weekend. A little bit disappointed that Adair actually is not going to goes against Bailly in the Champions Six. I think he would have been very interesting. Coming back to form. I don't even know what to make of the race, Flynn. Tarkeda Tasso's come into fours on the basis probably of the ground. They've watered this, despite the fact they're expecting rain. Alpinista's had a great season, but how good is she? She's third favourite now. The allowance that she's going to get is vital. Title holder for the Raiders, 9s, Onesto 10s, Videni 10s, and Luxembourg is obviously the 4-1 joint favourite. We'll see how the draw works out. I still think he's probably the most likely winner. I'm not sure I'd be that confident.
It's just a shocking race, I think. I wouldn't be confident in many of them. I know something's got to win it, but it's just not a race I've had much of a stranglehold on, to be honest. Like I say, Luxembourg's 4-1 joint favourite with us with Tarkeda Tasso. Tarkeda Tasso would be the biggest loser in the book for us. We did play Bay Bridge as well at bigger prices, but Bay Bridge isn't in there anymore. So it will just be that one, which would be a very bad loser. We have also laid a bit of Luxembourg and a bit of Alpinista, but not to the levels that we've laid the Tasso. So that'll be the one that we want beat. We've also got the supporting races up on the website as well after declarations today. We've got the Prix Labbé, the Platinum Queen's 11-4 favourite there. I'd quite fancy that one running the quick 5 furlongs. Just bumped into a couple recently, bumped into Highfield Princess, obviously improved so much recently. And then was it Trillium the other day, I think he bumped into. So a couple of horses, but winning, running some really good races, has the Platinum Queen. We've got the Prix de la Forêt up there where Kim Ross is your 15-8 favourite. Homeless Songs. What do you think happened to Homeless Songs the last day? Just ran flat?
Apparently she, I was talking to somebody who was, I wasn't at Leopardstown now, but apparently she was quite worked up in the pre-parade, and she's by Frankel. A lot of the Frankel horses can be a little bit warm, and I'd like to think she was better than that. I'd definitely like to think she was better than that. Her obviously performance at the Curragh and that turn of foot, I might be prepared to give her one more chance. She had been coming off a bit of a layoff, but she must be better than that. So I'd be prepared to think that if she behaves herself, she's going to bounce back.
Yeah, okay. So maybe watch out for her in the prelims before you take the price value. So we're 7-2 now, but maybe worth waiting the day, even if it's 5-2. Just see how she gets on there. Tenebrism's 9-2, Sacred 11-2, and then your 9-1 Bar. Just have a look at some others we've got on here. The Prix Dolly, you've got Amat in there at 12-5, the Day 11-2, and then 13-2 Bar. So if you want to have a look at the supporting races for Longchamp of the weekend, obviously Saturday and Sunday, they're on the website as well as the Blue Ribbon event. Then we've also got the Sun Chariot on the website, and Newmarket where Saffron Beach is your 5-4 favourite. Laurel is 3-1. 5-1 Homeless Songs there, and then 5-1 Prosperous Voyage and 13-2 Bar. So plenty of anti-post horse racing to look at for the weekends. And then we've kind of got Champions Day, and then it's onto the jumps.
Onto the jumps, indeed. I will be working at Clonmel tomorrow for Racing TV. If you want to, Clonmel Thursday, if you want to tune in, this is all hurdles and bumper cars, low grade stuff. But you know, somebody's got to do it, and I'm up for work. So I'll be at Race TV, and Willie Mullins has one runner, so maybe I'll have a chat with him if I have time about the jump season ahead. Do you want to end up on politics though? I'm fascinated by this, Flynn, and I think the Conservative Party is an absolute joke at the moment in Britain. It's been run by a series of very unimpressive individuals. Labour has just more or less just stayed out of things and not done anything mad. And some punter, in my view, absolutely rightly foresees a reversal of the Labour fortunes in the next election.
Yeah, so we are now 2-on, but we laid 150,000 on Labour to get the most seats in the next general election. Then we laid a further 50,000 at 4-6 as well. So
2-on now.
We're now 1-2.
Wow, that was odds against not long ago.
Yeah, the punt's got the value. It's now, I'm just having a look here. It's now 157 on the exchanges. Conservatives are 262. So it's all going one way, but depending on which way you view it, I don't think you can get much worse than where we're at the moment. They have to back out and turn this round somehow. So if you wanted to bet the other side, I don't think it's the worst time to do it. I mean, even looking at the Conservatives, I think they were like 268 or something this morning. I was saying to one of my friends, I thought that's probably too big now. It's probably gone too far the other way. Just think about the last election, and everybody on Twitter, not everybody, sorry, but the vast majority of Twitter was so pro-Labour, but we forget that a lot of the world actually isn't on Twitter,
Absolutely.
and a lot of the voting majority, and nobody would have predicted like such a big landslide for Boris Johnson the last time. So I think that we can kind of get sucked into that a little bit, and that's what does make these markets sometimes. So I think I wouldn't put anyone off playing the Conservatives, to be honest, because I do think that they will sort it out. Whether they do or not is another thing. But yeah, so 200,000 at 4-6. I'm no politics judge, by the way, so I'm probably not one to listen to there. But when it swings so far one way, I'd be thinking about maybe playing the other side, just because that tends to be where the value lies when this is overplayed in the market.
Yeah, no, I'm far from an expert myself, but I think it's a long time away. That's one thing I would say. An awful lot can change, and in politics, in British politics, it seems to swing violently every couple of weeks, or at least in the Conservative Party. But interesting times ahead. That was Traders Chat. Obviously, the Premier League back this weekend. Check out the website. Do check out the website for those World Cup offers and have a better stab at who should be the top scorer than I did. And yeah, we'll be back next week.